This episode is sponsored by Bigger City. Thank you so much for supporting us and helping our show to grow. Welcome to the Big Fat Gay Podcast, where we talk about the things that are weighing on our minds. My name is Michael Willer. I am a chubby chaser, and today I am an online Riverside boy. That's right. We are trying out a new recording service. We're doing this online, so hopefully this works out. Everybody pray for us for this
big
episode.
Money, big prizes. Hey, my name's Don. I'm a big chubby guy living in sunny Hollywood, and today I am a hopeful boy that Riverside will work for us. So,
Hello, my name is Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, and chubby chaser. And no, I am valiantly confident that this shall be
Somebody has to be.
the best of all possible worlds, as Mr. Voltaire laughed.
I don't know. I'm Trevor Keyson. I'm a super chub, and I'm a, I don't know. I already did this with Michael yesterday, boy.
Yeah.
So
He's got it down. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the show, everybody. So here we are, and we're setting up a new recording schedule. As long as this method works, we'll be able to record online and then shop out the online episodes to an editing service. And if all goes smoothly, we'll be back to 4 episodes per month, which is amazing. Every single week, we'll do 2 online and 2 in person, so we get the best of both worlds. Not to overpromise, but this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. So
I love sliced bread.
brace yourselves, everybody.
The slicer.
Couple housekeeping things, as you guys are all familiar. Patreon people, thank you so much. You are partially responsible, in fact, mostly responsible for us being able to do it this way. Mm-hmm. We got to pay for Riverside, we got to pay for editors, and this is the way we get it done. So thank you so much. If you want to support us on Patreon, please go there. We have the links all over the place, including on our website. For a minimum of $5 a month, you get mini-sodes, you get behind-the-scenes videos that we record every episode. We do other random weird things. I also, by the way, I just dug up, by complete accident, I stumbled across a recording that we did back in the day, a behind-the-scenes recording of us singing Baba Ran a cappella style.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I remember that.
And that may or may not be something we could post on Patreon just for funsies. So all kinds of fun stuff like that. Yeah, it's delightful. Let's see. Oh, yeah, so Chaser Chat, me and Dan, that minisode just came out and is on Patreon currently as we speak. Yes. And will also be as you listen. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
We got a new review. We are at 99 on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, my God.
It was quite a snarky.
We can't just sit there.
They gave us 5 stars, so thank you for 5 stars.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Yeah, come on. Our 99th review brands us as elitists somehow. So come on, someone needs to give us a number 100.
Well, be honest, Don. If you could get away with being elitist, wouldn't you?
Oh,
I know
100%. You know,
100%.
I aspire to be
better than
elitist
everybody.
one day. That means I'd be part of the elite.
Don't the elite take a fruit roll up and Gushers and make a little Gusher fruit roll up blunt and eat it?
Because they have the money for it. They get 2 snacks.
They call him Trevor Two Snacks Keyson.
All right, well, that's enough of that. Let's get into the good stuff.
It's in my head still.
I'm always picturing Trevor like doing the knee slide up to the camera with jazz hands up.
Yes, and a little top hat.
I mean, I picture all of us with hats and they just kind of come off in sync and we should be shaking them.
And then we all bow.
So we talked about this a while ago and it's here.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited. So Jeff Jenkins, a.k.a. Chubby Diaries, has I think at the time it was maybe Discovery, and I don't know if stuff got shuffled around, but his show is finally coming out on Nat Geo, and I think it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yes, Nat Geo and Disney Plus on July 9th is premiering.
And it is called Never Say Never.
Well, give us a little background, because what does he do and then what is the show?
Watching the trailer just made me super happy because this is stuff I've talked about on this podcast about wanting to do.
But tell the people. Yeah. Tell the people.
Right. Getting to it. So on the trailer of it, it's this big guy going on these adventures around the world that a lot of us fatter guys have thought have been out of reach for us, right? So like ziplining, the trailer shows him mountain climbing. I think whitewater rafting was one of the things. And
Doing some very dangerous things that I would never do. But I'm perfectly
I
happy
would
to watch him do it.
love to do these things.
He was up on a tall thing.
Yeah, I was instantly jealous watching this because I want to do all of it. But it's
Go right on
basically
ahead and do
an
that.
outdoor. It's basically an outdoor adventure program that we've seen 1,000 billion times from thin fit guys, but this time it's someone who looks like me climbing mountains, and I'm there for it.
He is not thin and he is gorgeous. And yeah, it's just and he gets really kind of real with it because some of these things are legitimately terrifying. And you get to see him being terrified and then doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Doing it anyway.
I want to climb the mountain until I'm at the foot of the mountain, and then I don't want to climb the mountain anymore.
The most exciting part of it for me, I mean, besides the premise and the fact that he's clearly just this like wonderful role model who's living life, is that his personality is so captivating. I mean, he's so excitable and endearing and authentic. And, you know, when the show is centered around one person,
That's important.
Like you got to really be able to like lead that and be the person to bring people along on the journey. And his energy is infectious. He's got this wonderful voice and smile. I mean, really just brings you into his adventure rather than just being like, hey, look at me, I'm doing things. He's like, we can do this together. And, you know,
I think that's the shift in point of view because a lot of these shows are like, okay, so when you're up on the mountain in Kilimanjaro, this is what you need to keep in mind when you go, and he's like, he is in it. He's just in it. He's not talking about it. He's just in it.
Yeah. He's living, it's a show that follows him in the moment, you know, and he's not trying to project a veneer of cool like I would try and do. I would totally be trying to cover up my terror. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so his honesty about
awesome.
it is one of the things that makes it look so appealing. Give it a shot.
Absolutely.
you can find him online as Chubby Diaries. The show is Never Say Never on Nat Geo TV and Disney Plus, coming out July 9th. Keep an eye out. Let us know if you watch it. We'd love to catch up about it. We'll do a little recap. Maybe we can catch the first episode and see how it
big
goes.
can a Disney Plus watch party be?
Well, we can test it. Well, are we talking in people or pounds? Because there's potential limitations on either. Next up, what do we got?
I
Diane
love this.
Duane.
Yeah, this was
Okay, so how do you say her name?
Siobhán McSweeney.
Okay.
Yes.
I never pronounce when I see that. I just immediately stop.
Is
I was
that-
going to
that's
jump in and do this.
It's an Irish name, right? Siobhán? All right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so award-winning actress Siobhán McSweeney was being interviewed on the red carpet, and they were talking about, like, oh, who are you wearing? Who are you wearing? And she does this really amazing thing where she says, you know, I had a lot of different offers from a lot of different designers because this is, I think, the BAFTA TV Awards.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, but I turned them all down because they don't actually design for fat people. They just wanted to design for me because I'm on a red carpet. So I went with this other, I think it was an American company.
Is it Fashion Brand or something?
It's called
Fashion
Fashion
Brand
Brand,
Company.
which, God, if you could find a more generic, unrememberable name, as I didn't remember it.
Wait, what was it called?
I don't know. What?
That's
It literally is out of my head already. Fashion Brand. It's called
Fashion
Fashion
Brand Company.
Brand. Anyway, she went with them to do her outfit. She looks fabulous, of course. And
So
her whole outfit, except for her shoes.
Yes.
Which she's wearing Air Jordans because she can't be bothered with uncomfortable shoes, which I think is fucking awesome.
yes.
I love seeing her in this outfit. It's like a red, kind of like red. I think it's latex, or at least some kind of latex-looking leather
Or
dress,
pleathery.
and
Yeah.
her hair kind of up in like a pin-up swirl updo thing. So I know Siobhán McSweeney from Derry Girls, where she plays the nun at the school. So seeing her in this outfit, it is just amazing to me.
To see her in that character, but then cut loose on the red carpet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is a very sexy low-cut outfit.
That
I mean, she looks
PVC red
gorgeous.
is it's giving me sort of like a Jessica Rabbit kind of vibe from.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
So good on her for
and she
calling
won.
out. Oh, she won. Yeah,
Even better. Well, you know, good thing she was dressed for it.
exactly.
I don't know. I would check out Derry Girls. It is fantastic. It is hilarious. It is gut wrenching at times. It's on
Dairy
Netflix.
girls. Dairy like the milk product.
Not
Well,
diary.
no. DERRY.
DERRY.
Oh.
It's like a Stephen King novel.
I see.
Set
I
in
can
Derry,
do
Maine.
I can do grammar, but not spelling.
Yeah.
It's absolutely lovable, phenomenal cast. Everyone knocks it out of the park, including Siobhán, and that's why she got the award.
Congratulations, Siobhán, and thanks for calling out the hypocritical clothing brands that only want to design for fat bodies when you're on.
I
the
know
red
it's a
carpet.
slight
Yeah,
tangent.
when they
but
get something out of it. Yeah.
I know it's a slight tangent, but it still depresses me that we're at this stage where we have to hear this sentence out of larger actresses at rewards shows. I remember hearing this for the first time in the 90s when an actress named Cameron Manheim
Yes, I was
got
thinking
nominated
that. Just
for the
thinking that.
Emmys. Well, she was the first one, right? And she was the first one who had asked her on the red carpet, like, who are you wearing? And she just went up there and she got one designer. She had one designer to pick from who designed large outfits at that time for anyone, right? And so it was almost like a scandal in Hollywood that she was wearing this unknown designer that she was supporting because he supported the large body.
Man.
You know,
I want to see more Cameron Manheim. We just watched her in a rewatching Ghost Whisperer. I also saw when my sister was in town, watched Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, and she's great in that.
Oh, that's right. If you really want to get a big dose of her, she is all over the practice. She is stellar.
Ooh, we're gonna watch that next.
Really?
Yes.
Trevor got so excited he smashes
Yeah.
my
Well, it's funny because Trevor
She
usually
was a
doesn't
great
go for
actress.
procedurals.
you know, at the
I mean,
time
is
she
it-
was.
Is it funny? Is it fun? Or is it just kind of
It's hard hitting procedural drama with a really hot guy from first season of American Horror Story, Dylan McDermott, something like that.
Merle Rooney?
or Dermot
No.
Yeah.
There's no
If
Mulrooney. It's
There's
McDermott.
there's an SNL sketch about, is it Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulrooney?
Anyway, hot as fuck as a sort of like from the wrong side of the tracks Boston lawyer who has this little scrappy independent firm that defends people they probably shouldn't be defending, but with a heart of gold.
Okay.
And Cameron Manheim plays the she's a lawyer and she is a motorcycle riding pierced earrings.
Oh
and
yes, we'll
babe.
we'll check this out.
And yeah.
Okay, well, I think that does it. Is it time?
Oh, it's
I
time.
think it's time.
Yes, please.
I'm soaring. I'm flying.
Fat Watch 2023.
It's so nice to have our music and sound effects for an online episode. We usually don't get the luxury of hearing our own music and stuff when we do online.
It's like we're all in the room together, holding hands. Remember that time I made us hold hands?
Yeah. And we were all so confused, but it was still beautiful.
So confused.
So it's Fat Watch. It's 2023. We're in the present. It's not rewind. And so this I wanted to share. So to set this up, I had been kind of really blasting this on our Instagram like last month because Jalen Chanley, who you might remember from our Bigger Vegas episode, plus-sized travel guru, created a change.org petition demanding the FAA to protect plus-size travelers. And basically there's this breakdown of these are changes you need to make travel safer for larger people. But it's really also like everyone benefits from this.
Yeah.
So it has, right now, as a recording, it has 18,981 signatures. Jalen has gotten a ridiculous amount of hate and just
Oh my God.
pushback
Of course.
and
Yeah. The indignation.
insane just hate directed at her and just the entire idea of like, why accommodate fat people? This has been going through the kind of like conservative news media washing machine. Just kind of like it keeps coming back to the point to where News Nation reached out to NAFA chair Tigris Osborne to comment on this. I think just because they like, oh, this is a thing about fat people. And I think they thought NAFA originated the petition.
They said it.
Yeah.
And she had to correct them.
Well, it's not like they have accuracy high on the mind, you know?
Yeah, it's only news.
It's only news.
So she does this interview. It's about 3 minutes long for News Nation. And on the one hand, it's very frustrating because the anchor keeps interrupting her. He clearly is carrying his own biases into the conversation. I want to say this because I got really angry hearing it. So she mentions the Southwest policy of being able to get a free seat. And then he says, well, no, because they'll just cram people onto the plane if the plane's sold out and then you lose that seat. That's wrong.
Exactly.
That is factually inaccurate, and she didn't get a chance to correct him.
She didn't correct it. That's what killed me, is that he stated the Southwest policy incorrectly. He stated another version of the policy. And well, of course, because why could he be bothered?
So I will give this bit of context that I got from Facebook from Tigress, because she shared this and then kind of followed up. So I think, it is the conservative, like very aggressive pushback, but also they were running behind. So this segment was like super, like the reason it's so kind of like fast paced is because they were rushing through it, because originally it was going to be a longer time slot. It was probably going to be 5 minutes instead of the 3 minutes or whatever it ended up being.
Yeah.
So he's a dick, but I think also that was I think that amplified things.
Yeah, he's not horrendous. And she does get a chance to make some good points, and she does get a chance to have a solid closing statement. So it's not, overall, I would say it's a win. It was just frustrating that she clearly didn't have time to correct his inaccuracy because he had already segued into the next subject.
Yeah. And there's so many better counter arguments to his bullshit that could have been made. There probably wouldn't have been time to make them.
Yeah.
But the conservative argument comes down to, well, why should I be made to pay for this other person's problem? And what Tigress kept trying to bring it back to was, look, we all benefit. If we all have more comfortable seating, where's the problem?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that actually did make an impact, and he was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
How generous of him.
but he had to hear. It was when she made the point that Canada does this, and it was like, this is something they do. It has been proven to work, and he's like, oh, okay, this is not just a test run of some new thing.
I love that conservative media always comes from the vantage point of this has never been done before, and no one can do it. Except that every other civilized country does it.
It works just fine for me, the spray tanned white dude. I
don't know. I'm not really familiar with News Nation.
I looked it up. It's rated as a centrist. It's rated as a centrist, neither left nor right news source.
That just means they claim to be libertarian.
No, it's by a third party.
I liked seeing this because it definitely was I don't know. I don't watch a lot of live news, and this was so initially when it was live, I caught the very end, and I was kind of like, oh, that was weird. That just is aggressive and fast. But I wanted to share this because this was I think the best I have seen in the live news fat person having to defend fat stuff, and just there was so much more to say, but I think she did such a good job just being pow, pow, bop, bop, bop.
Without being combative. That was really amazing.
Yeah.
I have to agree. When people don't appreciate how hard it is to try and get across a point in that small a time slot with, with an uncooperative news host, I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I have been in that situation where I've been interviewed about my book, and it was so clear that the only reason I'm on there is so that they can yell at me.
Yeah.
That was the point of it, to express their outrage as a proxy for their listeners' outrage. And you don't get to have your point of view. You just don't.
Yeah.
I would just be crying. Oh.
Yeah, I gotta say, I thought she did a really good job with a host that was not giving her many openings.
I think she ended well. I think there was a lot of stuff in there. I would be like, whoa, no, untrue, stop it. And the counter argument I would have made, since we have all the time in the world now, apparently, is, if you're going to get to that point where, fat people should pay extra for their seats. So are you saying that thin people should get discounts?
Yeah.
Because they take up less seats? Is that the argument you're making? That why should normal sized people have to pay for thin people? Or have to.
And I have been told by an airline that I would have to pay extra to get my seat, even though the person sitting next to me was my friend and said they didn't mind me pressing up against them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I love the argument that Tigress made that I've never heard before, but of course is perfectly true, is that with the exception of Southwest, other airlines are not even set up for you to buy an extra seat. You can't. Or you have to talk to customer service and explain the problem 16 times.
Brava, Tigress, for, holding your own and bopping that News Nation guy. And
Just bop him on the nose. Poof.
if you haven't already, we're sharing the link to the changes.org petition. Check it out. I think Jalen did a great job breaking down changes that could be made, and sign it and share it.
Yeah, I actually signed it earlier when we got the outline, and I think it's certainly an easy thing to do. You just go, you put your name in there. If you haven't been on change.org, then you just have to do an email verification, and that's it. So it's a super simple, easy way to help out. All right.
Well, it's nice that Tigress should be influencing the world the way she is. She has become quite the teacher of many.
Yeah.
Quite the educator of fat rights.
Very educational, quite a teacher. Which brings us to our main topic for the day.
Elegantly done.
Smooth seg, Don.
Yeah.
So good.
So this kind of came up in one of our calls because I was just thinking about like fat teachers I had growing up and just kind of the impact they made on my life. And we kind of just talked about like just teachers in general and the impact they can have around your body image or just your kind of queer identity. And we wanted to kind of talk about the positives and negatives of that. Because I don't know, I have positives and negative examples, and I can only imagine, everyone else.
And for people who are wondering, like, what's the point of taking a focus on teachers? Like, during your formative years, I think it could be argued that aside from your parents, there are going to be very few other people that will have as direct an impact on your development and your self-image than your teachers.
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
When you look back at, pretty much any point in your childhood, I feel like there's always those sort of landmark people that are either a hugely positive influence or a really detrimental influence. And usually that's either a teacher or a fellow student. But, somewhere in those two. And the teachers in particular, because they have so much influence over you, just being the adult in your life that's, helping you grow, that can leave a huge impact. I'm curious, do we want to start with mentorship, or do we want to start in the gym class? Because I feel like there's two totally different directions to go.
So, I have two gym class examples, but I think I've talked about my nightmare high school gym teacher who just would yell at people and call them lame.
Lame.
Yeah.
Lame
yeah.
was the word
Lame.
Well, and
So
what she meant by
lame.
that, Trevor, you should expand on the context.
Okay.
What was
So
considered
this
lame?
was, I'm going to say to Michael, you should probably bleep names because I think all but one of these teachers are alive. But I just want to say, Miss.
To be clear, the audience, all they heard was a bleep just now.
Yeah.
Okay. But you got it out. That's what counts.
I had her, I think it was, I don't know if it was sophomore or junior year for gym class. And I was I can't remember what they called it, but it was basically like a gym class for kids who just were not athletes and didn't want to play sports.
Wait, you were in remedial gym?
Basically.
wow.
It was basically you just do from my knowledge of it was you walk around the track, which is what I would do with my friends. And we would just kind of talk about,
I think everybody else was running, sweetheart.
No one else, because it was remedial gym. But she, we just would walk we would walk especially slow because it's we don't. It's the first period. We have the rest of the day. We don't want to get sweaty.
First period gym. That's awful.
And she would just me and my friend Sarah, she would just yell at us and be lame.
Just
yeah.
you walk in the door and she yells lame at you? What?
No, when we were just circling on the track.
What the hell?
When they were circling even slower than the others walking on the track.
I'm just picturing her walking 5 feet behind you, just screaming it the entire way around the track.
There was one day actually where Sarah just lost her shit and yelled back at her and just kind of broke her down. And was you're not allowed to do that. You can't do that to someone. This isn't appropriate.
What happened? Dramatic.
I think
pause
he probably
for a
called her
sip of water.
lame. I don't know. I don't think that had any impact on her.
I don't think it had any impact. That miraculously did not solve the problem.
Yeah.
But a positive, gym teacher experience. So in first grade, I was at a new school. I was a little dork. I had a lot of anxiety, just, I was a little anxiety bomb. And we had this teacher, Coach, and he was just kind of like, fat gym teacher who just wore a tracksuit every day. And like, he didn't do anything. He'd just sit on a chair. The gym it was like a kind of like basketball court bleachers, but then there was a stage that he would be on because it was also like the stage for performances. And he would just, he was very nice, and he gave me the nickname T-Bone.
Is that where it comes from? Oh my gosh.
And he'd go, T-Bone. And I think it was like to try to, like, I think he saw this, like, oh, this kid is going to get eaten alive. And if I give him a cool nickname, maybe he won't get eaten alive.
Did it work?
Oh, it was a protective nickname.
I think
love
so.
It.
Like
He's dropping his little cloak of protection over you.
Yeah. I mean, the nickname stuck. I did not really.
Your brother uses it all the time.
Yeah. I did not really enjoy it because it's like, oh man, that is so not. I am
that's
not
so
T-Bone.
not your personality.
That's
I
a
always
nickname to
wondered
live
about
up
that.
to. Like you have to fill that nickname.
I always wondered about that because I had heard that nickname for you before, and I was kind of like, really? Like,
I
Trevor
thought your
is
brother came up with it.
No, Coach.
It'd be like somebody calling Trevor T-Dog. It's like, it just doesn't.
It's pretty close. It's pretty
Yeah.
close. No, it's worse. Somebody calling me T-Dog.
Oh,
So my gym class was a little different. I didn't have a large woman running around behind me yelling loser at me. So this is always an awkward thing for me to remember. Mr. McDonald was our gym teacher from 9th grade through senior year. Mr. McDonald was a young, hard-bodied athlete. I think he was like part of the football program at the college he went to or something.
did he have a farm?
He was beautiful. Oh my God, he was
God.
beautiful.
We're talking
he-
E-I-E-I-O, boy.
Yeah. People may remember some of Michael's stories of a sexual awakening with one of his teachers. Mr. McDonald.
Oh, we'll
was
get to
definitely
that.
mine.
We'll get to this.
But he was the jock. He was a jock, and I don't think he liked fat people very much. And I made the mistake in 8th grade, right? We had our Renaissance fair every year.
Oh boy.
Which was it was our big fundraiser for the year, and one of the games they had was jousting, where you would get up on the balance beam with like basically a quarterstaff with big boffers on either side and try and knock other people off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And dude, as a fat, tall, strong 8th grader, I was unbeatable. And I made the mistake of challenging him, and I took his ass out 2 out of 3 times
Oh boy.
Wow.
on there, and he punished me for the next 4 years. I think.
God.
I think because it's all of a sudden when I went into 9th grade, we had nothing but acrobatics and tumbling for half the year, and the other half of the year was like. Yeah, it was all like movement and
Rope
outdoor,
climbing.
like yeah, it was all like I hate fat people stuff, you know. So to this day,
Picturing
I'm convinced that.
what is it, the hole in the wall show? You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Where, like,
The
he has you
wall,
guys doing that.
the
And
wall.
it's like, I can't, there's no way I'm going to get through.
Where they have the human-sized cutouts on a wall flying towards the contestants that you had to fit through. Yeah. I definitely was one of those stereotypical fat kids where gym class was always a chore for me. And like on those rare occasions we had like feats of strength or balance or endurance, I was fine, but you know, oh God, not long-term tumbling.
Yeah.
God.
That just sounds dumb. This is all kind of strange to me because I don't really remember doing anything like that for gym class, although now I'm trying to remember what we did do for gym class. I think it was like your typical, like we played dodgeball and, you know, I think, you know, they taught us like some like different stretches and things that you could do. I really don't remember much about gym class. And then I think there was one point where they had like the pull-up bar and there was like, you know, how many pull-ups can everyone do? And then you could choose to just like hang from the pull-up bar. But I don't have frankly, gym class was not too much of a thing for me because after 4th grade, I was homeschooled for a few years and then I went to a private school that didn't really have a gym class. It was like, this is a whole other thing. But at that school, when I was in 9th grade, yes, it was freshman year of high school, I had my teacher, Mr. Gillespie, who was my absolute like dreamboat sexual awakening crush. Ninth grade, which feels late to me, but you know.
I mean, you were homeschooled. I would be concerned if you had a crush on one of your teachers in homeschool.
To be clear, I had been in this school for 7th and 8th grade prior to that. So it's not like, I mean, I wasn't like a shut-in. Like homeschooling doesn't mean that you're literally closed off from the entire world. It just
but I'm
means
just
that,
saying that your teacher...
not having a crush on my teacher.
I'm just saying.
If you had a crush on one of your homeschool teachers, this would be a very different episode.
But I'm just.
I
look,
did have
ninth
other
grade-
teachers besides my mom. You guys don't really get how this works.
Yeah. No, but ninth grade, that's perfectly reasonable. You're like 14. That's completely reasonable.
But I was like, I can kind of understand the chaser freeze because that is, I would love to have seen the expressions on my face every time I was in his class because it was just like googly eyed, jaw on the floor. Like I thought I was hiding it pretty well. Like I thought I was very sort of like in the background. Like I learned the word surreptitious from him, and it has stuck. I use it all the time. And the thing that was lovely about him was, besides him being just like gorgeous, the shock. He was 24. Which felt like an adult at the time, but now I'm 33 right now, and Jesus Christ, like that's insane.
I was thinking about this the other night. I had a like insane, awful 13-year-old boy, crush on one of my male teachers at my Catholic school, Mr. And it was kind of like the Don thing with your gym teacher where like he was a former athlete, I think a baseball player, and he was, I don't know, 25 or maybe 27. I think it was 25.
Okay.
So it was like old enough to where it's like, this is a man. But like he was like he was my social studies teacher and the homeroom teacher eventually. But like, such a jock that it's like I don't know how, like there's no excuses I can make to like make conversation. And I realized that like I kind of would,
I remember,
like neg him almost.
Oh, Trevor.
Where I realized I'm like, oh my, but it was like because I would just try to talk to him about things but kind of end up teasing him, but in I think a way that was like especially cutting because it's coming from this fat 13-year-old who's like gay. Because like I remember there was one time it was like, I don't know if it was before school and I was just there early or something, or it was like I came back from lunch early and he was eating his lunch. And it was like this little, I don't know, it like looked like a kid lunch. And I was like, oh, did your mom make that for you? And he's like, yeah.
Oh, Trevor.
It was.
I'm curious what Dan's teacher stories could be.
Yeah. So, looking back on it, I think some of the most humane, because I was a fat kid growing up. And honestly, the most humane teachers I had regarding that were the gym teachers. I had, I remember, Coach Flannery. Who is this? I don't know. He was probably in his late 30s, mustache, classic. I mean, I wouldn't know this at the time, but like classic 70s gay porn. Just like, thin and athletic and a lot of hair and mustache and all that stuff. But, he's like, hey, kids, we're going to learn tennis today. And it was just really low key. And I remember one time in the 7th grade, we were supposed to do wrestling. And so in wrestling, it sort of behooves the other wrestlers to have a partner who is of similar size or weight.
Yeah.
But how do you do this in a class of, let's say, 20 or 30? And so he had this really sort of cool and non-judgmental way of doing it where he just said like, okay, so he put us on the bleachers. And he's like, okay, so everybody under 100 pounds come down here. And like, okay, now everybody under 120 pounds come down here. Okay, now everybody under, and then he could just stop. When it got to a certain number of people in the stands, which was like me, you could just come down. Like nobody knew your weight. They just knew you were not less than this.
Okay.
And it was just a way of like getting people sort of vaguely sorted by size, just so the
That's
biggest kid wasn't
awesome.
Yeah, it really
Oh
was.
my God, that was anything where weight came up was
Yeah.
anything that, oh my God, the stress associated with it.
Yeah. And so contrast
That's wonderful.
that with my academic classes where that was so not the case. I think the worst incident was when I was in the 4th grade. They had us all lining up outside, right? You have to line up outside to go into the classroom. And we had this student teacher, and he just thought it would be really funny. And not even that. I just think it didn't occur to him. I was like turned around facing the other way. And so I kind of missed people going in. And he's like, come on, Jelly Belly.
Oh, God.
Oh, fuck
And
him.
that was like lighting a grass fire. Like, luckily, most of the kids were inside, didn't hear him. But anybody who was outside, they lost their shit. And he got, and I looked at him like, really? And he got like, that was a stupid thing to do. Like, he did get it, but by then it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that would happen constantly is I was the new kid in Gifted and Talented. And what that means is they discovered I was smart. And I couldn't stand being where I was. So I got moved into the Gifted and Talented class. But these kids, it was the clique. These kids had been going to the same Gifted and Talented class all, with each other for, at least 3 or 4 years.
Oh, boy.
So I was such an interloper, and I was fat, and I was new. And so how does the Gifted and Talented program make fun of you? Well,
Oh, God.
yeah. Oh, this was cutting. So one of the things we would do every week is we would have vocabulary quizzes, because even in the 9th grade, we were being groomed for the SAT. I think we had to memorize 100 words a week, and we would be tested on 10 of them.
Damn.
Yeah. And so you had a significant amount of class time every period was spent on these SAT, just whatever we were doing with it.
Sure.
And so, I'll never forget Michael Cohen. So just this skinny, stupid, smart, like ridiculously smart kid. And he's like, gosh, on this week, maybe we should have the word corpulent. Oh, I noticed this week, why don't we have the word obese? And very pointedly looking at me. So corpulent, obese, right? And our teacher, what do you do? She's like, oh, Michael. That was all she got. That was all she got. And he was like, what, Mrs. Sobieski? I'm just making SAT jokes.
Oh my God.
SAT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I prefer gym class.
That's interesting.
I hate that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, did anyone have any, I don't know, other fat teacher? Like, really, the teacher that made me think of this, who I was thinking of, was Mrs. Bleep. I feel like you can, I don't know, but bleep her, but like gently, a gentle bleep. I'm pretty sure she's dead. She was my 2nd grade teacher, and she was this like little short, fat, but like not just like, I don't know, fat in the way that like plus size, like the standard plus size is like, oh, you look like a human being. Just, older woman who was just so sweet, kind of like curly old lady hair. And she had this thing in her classroom where it was like, she had 2 folders on the door with a smiley face and a sad face. And she's like, if you have something sad, like that makes you sad that you want to tell me, you can write it down and put it in here and you don't have to write your name. Or if you have something that makes you happy, you can write it and put it here and like, you don't have to sign your name. And so like, I was a little nutcase kid. So like, I'm like, I can put anything in that I'm feeling in there. And I kind of ended up like trauma dumping on her through this.
Oh.
And then it kind of turned into a whole thing because this other girl who was like equally nutcase, who also like kind of, she's a lesbian. I ended up becoming friends with her in high school. But like, she was like going in and reading it, and it turned into this whole kind of nightmare, like, because she was reading people's little notes.
Did you sign yours?
No, but I think it kind of became clear that it was me. But she was just, I don't know, such a like tender, like sweet, perfect 2nd grade teacher. And also would really kind of like a few times talked about like how making comments about people's bodies can be hurtful. And she told this story about, I don't know, I think maybe when she was in 2nd grade or like, grade school, some girl told her she had elephant legs. And then like it was like still something that like to this day she was still hurt by. And I don't know, she was just such a wonderful, sweet, like old little fat lady teacher who I think was like the perfect type of teacher for me to have at that time in my life.
What was her name again?
Mrs. Bleep.
I don't think I had a teacher that ever influenced my fatness, but in my school, I definitely had I think my masculinity was questioned by some of my teachers growing up. I think I was a pretty effeminate kid because, I was raised by my mom 5 days out of the week, and, that was it. Like, I had female mannerisms I was picking up. And I just remember I had this teacher I really liked, Mr. Morrow, right? And he was one of the good teachers, right? He was always very kind, patient, and I felt like he got me. And I had him from like 6th grade to graduation in 12th grade. And he said something to me the day I left that sort of messed it all up, right? Where on my last day of senior year, all the teachers were going out of their way at the end of their classes to make personal connections with each of the students that were leaving, right? Which I admire enormously. It's a beautiful moment from all those teachers. When I was leaving his woodworking class, I was the last one going out of the room. And he held onto my hand and kind of stopped me from going down the stairs with everyone else. And he pumped my hand one extra time at the end of that class and said, I just want you to know, like, I've seen you growing all of these years, and I've seen you embrace your becoming a man. Becoming a man. Do you understand what I mean by that? Very pointedly.
I don't understand what he means by that. Like being less gay?
Yeah.
That's one of those things where it's left up in the air for interpretation, right?
Wow, weird.
And like to him, I'm sure that was a wonderful giving moment where he was acknowledging me changing and growing. But I remember when I left that, I was going cold inside, and that might have set my coming out process back by like a year or two. It was just, I felt like I was being called out for fixing something that was broken in me by his perspectives. I don't know if that's what he meant, but
it could be so many things.
Yeah.
What my mind goes to like what else can that mean? Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why you could just go from being a little kid to not being such a little kid.
I don't know. I think that's something that you should go and put in Mrs. Clark's sad folder.
Yeah.
She also would give us all up red. It was wonderful.
Teachers are not just teachers, right? We are all influencing younger people every day. And so just remember, like something you think might be a compliment might be heard the wrong way. Invest in your kids the best way you can and pay attention to what you're saying. That's it.
I like that sentiment. It's a good way.
I would like to hear some, fat teacher stories from listeners.
Yeah, listeners.
Good. I would like good ones too, because I'm sure there's probably a lot of horrible ones. But I don't know. If you have one that makes you happy, you can put it in the folder. And if you have one that makes you sad, you can put it in the other folder.
Call our email address.
Yes.
So
we
as
have a tip for today.
Tip for the day, maybe I think Trevor wants to mention the change.org thing again.
Yeah.
Just go change.org, sign the petition.
This is for the demanding the FAA protect plus-size travelers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The next goal is 25,000. That's the next milestone for change.org. So, I mean, it could be closer by the time this episode comes out, and you could be the 25,000.
Yeah.
But I think all four of us have gone to sign it. We wholeheartedly endorse this one. Please give it a go. Give it a sign.
I've been creating aliases all week to sign it again. And again. So
Vote early, vote often.
All right. What do we got in the bit department?
Well, in the bit department today, we're going to have a little bit of a mini discussion. Okay. All right? Because I've decided that we are going to start the Big Fat Gay High School. All right. And each of us is going to be a member of the staff or faculty. And so I want to have a little mini discussion of what sort of faculty work would each of us bring to the table? What sort of thing? So, for example, I would like to nominate Dan to be our chemistry teacher.
Why
because
chemistry?
His mixtures of alcohol libations have been some of the best chemistry experiments that we have conducted.
That is an inappropriate influence on young impressionable children.
This isn't.
You know, kids, when you're mixing a martini,
This
you gotta
isn't
keep in mind a few
Riverdale.
things. Exactly.
Well, Michael, I mean, you might make the counter argument that Trevor should be our chemistry teacher since he is our baker par excellence.
That's true. Baking
No,
is
I
very-
would be the weird art teacher who wears capes.
No, he would,
yeah,
he would
yeah.
totally be the art teacher.
And I even though Dan is our director in our midst, I think Trevor has to be the high school drama
Theater
coach.
director.
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like that's very necessary.
I can totally see Trevor like organizing arts and crafts projects for the students who don't really want to do them, and then it's like, come on, kids, like let's macrame, and the kids are
Oh
like,
God, this would be my punishment for a couple of art teachers I tortured.
No, I think I would be the cool but so not cool math teacher, and the kids are like, "Oh my God, why is he trying to make it fun again?"
No, you wish you were the art teacher, but you're the English teacher.
He's
Or
the
you
English
wish you were the
teacher.
math teacher.
Yeah.
English teacher.
Oh,
I could see Dan
I
as
would
English
I would
teacher.
rock English. That'd be good.
I think I would be the gym teacher. I think I would be the really like sensitive, understanding gym teacher that would have multiple different like things that you could do during the gym class so that it would be inclusive, that you could like pick which one you wanted to participate in. Because like ultimately gym is pass fail, right? Like you don't really have to do anything except participate. So give people different options of what they want to do and participate in.
I don't know, Michael. I think you'd be the art teacher who's always like teaching them new lessons about perspective and then forcing them to incorporate smoke machines into everything they make.
Oh, I was thinking digital art. I was thinking you'd be really good at digital
Yeah.
art.
He would also be the advisor for the AV club,
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah, totally.
without question.
I would start a little filmmaking club. That would be awesome. I would actually.
Oh yeah.
I would.
You
sort
could do
of-
that now.
Yeah, I have thought about it. I would love to do a little filmmaking course of some kind. But yeah, if you listeners have ideas about maybe a new role in a school, what would be a cool new kind of teaching role that doesn't exist currently? And keep it PG, everybody.
Yeah. Adult education does not mean sex education. You know, it's like, this is not, no.
Trevor, where could they let us know about that?
Well, you could let us know. Oh God! Oh no! Oh my God! My mind just went completely blank. We're on Twitter and Instagram as @BigFatGayPod. We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. 5 stars there. 5 stars on Apple Podcast. Leave us a review. We're elite. See,
Elite 1313.
support us on Patreon at patreon.com/BigFatGayPod. Check out our website www.bigfatgaypod.com. Cha. Maybe you're a fat teacher and you're pulling up to school and you're I don't know, you feel good now. You know you can impact young minds. But it's not a school. The walls fall down and
What?
it's all of us sitting recording the podcast in a
that's
hollow
meta.
version of your high school, and we all look at you in unison and say,
Watch
Watch
out.
out.